Hello, this is Kayana presenting TOK presentation about teen pregnancy. Teen pregnancies is the most common scenario all over the world. Teen motherhood can be caused in different circumstances among young adolescents. In this presentation, we will demonstrate the context of how teen girls having a child early affect their lives and mindsets.
Aking anak ay tatlo po. Ang panganay ko po ay magdadalawang taong gulang. Ang pangalawa po, namatay. Nung nalaman ko nga yun, edi sinaktan ko siya sa galit ko. Talagang sinampal-sampal ko siya. Kung ako lang hindi ko tanggap na magbubuntis siya ng bata pa. Gusto ko mag-aral siya. Kaya sa galit ko, nasaktan ko siya. Nabuntis ako ng unang anak, 13 taong gulang. Nalaman ko po na buntis po ako. Tanggap ko na lang po. Kaya tanggap na lang ang naramdaman ko dahil wala naman po akong magagawa. Nag-aral po ako ng grade 8. Wala naman po naturo sa amin na birth control. Kung alam ko lang po ang birth control, gagamit po ako nun kasi para maiwasan ko po. Yung po ay isang nanay na naging mahirap ang buhay dahil nung nag-aaral pa ako, inisip ko ang pag-aaral. Ngayong nanay na ako, kailangan ko na po isipin yung anak ko, yung ano sa bahay. Nung nag-aaral pa po ako, pangarap ko sa buhay ko ay maging isang guro. Pangarap ko po sa aking mga anak na makapagtapos po sila sa pag-aaral at hindi po matulad sa akin na mag-asawa agad. Siguro
After that video, this led me to come up with my knowledge question: how do we know parenthood is affected by age? Having a child at a young age can cause them to have more responsibilities and sacrifices than older adults. In 2015, a 20-year-old named Bernarda was interviewed by MTV sharing her experience on having a child at 16 on her own. She stated that our life does not come to a big stop when you have a child at such a young age. This is no more time for play, no more sleepovers at your friends' houses. The hardest decision is no longer what I'm going to wear tomorrow. Everything becomes about the baby. This indicates how once you made a grown-up decision in your life, you have to make sacrifices and make better choices for you to become a better person, especially for the child that you're providing, and also to set an example later in life for the child as well. However, some older people avoid the parental responsibilities they have as a grown-up. For instance, the 44-year-old rapper DMX was taken into custody just before he was set to perform as Master of Ceremony at a Radio City Music Hall concert in June 2015. In addition to his child support issues, DMX also had outstanding warrants for bail jumping and aggravated unlicensed motor vehicle operation. He was later sentenced to a 6-month sentence in jail. This indicates that deadbeat parents lack morality because they feel pressure or indecisive on their actions. This causes them to not be dedicated to provide for their child and lead them to be self-centered and egocentric. This led me to another knowledge issue: to what extent does having a child at a young age affect society? People will have faith in young mothers and believe they should be viewed equal as a regular female teen. There are many sources and people that help and provide young women or young men needs for themselves and their child or children. For instance, in 1990, a mom named Eileen Fragiacoma shared her experience in an article about her struggle raising her daughter in poverty in New York. She stated, 3 months after I had my daughter, I was lucky enough to land a job in advertising through my best friend. I was terrified, but I knew I had to do this to make a home for us. My socioeconomic background and the teen mom status and the high school level of education that came with it was also lingering in the back of my mind, making me feel very inadequate among my coworkers. However, it also made me work even harder to keep up with them and to learn and grow as much as I possibly could. Eileen's child brought her faith into becoming a role model and wanting her to be proud of her regardless of her circumstances. However, some people believe the stigma of a teen mom and consider them to be embarrassing or quote-unquote irresponsible and do not reach the high standards to society. For example, in the year of 2016, a girl that did not want to be identified was pregnant, young, and out of wedlock as well. She stated in an interview she wanted to commit suicide at one point, and she was afraid to admit to her family she was pregnant the second time because they would claim her as a slut. Society can cause damaging effects to women emotionally and mentally by their harsh opinions and remarks. Getting shamed would cause one to feel less accepted, guilty, and depressed because of how others view them. Thirdly, this leads to my last knowledge question: to what extent does teen pregnancy have an effect on one's mind and body? Teen pregnancy has a significant effect on the adolescent girl's mind and body. During pregnancy, women undergo significant brain remodeling that persists for at least 2 years after birth. One of the hallmarks of pregnancy is an enormous increase in sex steroid hormones such as progesterone and estrogen, which help a woman's body to prepare for carrying a child. There is only one other time when our bodies produce similar quantities of these hormones: puberty. Previous research has shown that during puberty, these hormones can cause dramatic structural and organizational changes in the brain. However, teen pregnancy, while having an effect on a girl's body, it more so has an effect on social economics, such as education, poverty, and etc. According to psychological research, terms of sexual and reproductive health and poses high school development costs for community, particularly in perpetuating the cycle of poverty. Teenage pregnancies are associated with social issues, including lower educational levels, poverty, and other negative life outcomes in children of teenage mothers. Teen pregnancy also affects girls' education and income potential, as many are forced to drop out of high school, which ultimately threatens future opportunities and economic prospects. Now we jump right into different perspectives. From Darius' perspective, he believes that teenage mothers are irresponsible and should be castigated for making their bad choices of having sex at such a young age, and in some circumstances not using contraceptives because they want to be fast and loose. While I do believe that he also believes that some type of shaming should be afflicted for there behavior, slut shaming, is harsh, but needs to be done sometimes for the girls to learn their lessons. Also, in my perspective, I feel that in most scenarios of teen moms are yet to be irresponsible and have a lack of common sense due to their current lifestyle as a young woman. Me personally, I would not assume them to be loose or slut shame them, because there are some circumstances women will experience, such as religion, culture, rape, or other events that put them in a vulnerable state. But I do feel that young women should understand and should know the baggage that comes with motherhood and be devoted to not only themselves but their child. Our analysis is the deeper meaning behind the talk of teen pregnancy is that it's an issue that affects people everywhere and is easily avoidable, especially if you use the IB learner profile being a thinker. When you are a thinker, you are using your critical thinking skills to think about the pros and cons of your decisions and how it will affect the people around you, and you will also be able to make ethical and reasonable choices when faced with a dilemma. Well, that's all, folks. That's our presentation.